The basic reasons for disagreements between the spouses are, this is the first topic of this lecture. First, I want to tell you that I'm very happy to see you all. But maybe I am not as glad as I would like to be, because my latest realizations are that my whole life, and I have been reading lectures for 20 years now, I'm mostly happy because people listen to me. I'm mostly happy to be seated on the elevated place. I found it in my heart. But recently I learned one interesting thing, that real happiness comes to the lecturer who knows that those who listen to him give him more than he can ever give them. And now I'm studying this matter, and I'm trying to understand your eyes. I try to listen to you, to see the value of the audience in my life, in my lectures. This is a small opening. I reveal my heart to you. I hope you are not disappointed. There is only one reason for disagreement between spouses. It is fate. The fate, it never asks us what it must do. It just acts in the sphere of close relationships. The closer the relationships, the more fate is in there. A baby is born, if he is loved dearly, there are going to be difficulties and tests, and how else can fate act? We're not going to listen to the person who rides on train with us. He may tell us, just behave more culturally. Do we respond? No, he's a stranger to us. I do not care what he says. I just saw him for the first time in my life, and I'm never going to see him again. I can tell him all I want. And though I'm supposed to be a good person, I'm Oleg Gennadievich, but he's a stranger, and no matter what he tells me, it doesn't matter. Strangers are people we have no relationships with, and therefore he cannot educate me, because in order to educate me, he must become my close person, whom I cannot avoid and leave. And so the fate, it educates us through our close people. The closer the person is, the more pain appears when contacting him. For example, if my wife were here in the lecture and her cell phone rang, I would have been very sad, because, well, some strangers, they may forget to turn their cell phones off, but my close person, she must know, because she knows that it is really difficult to get back to lecture after some distraction. But I would have been sad, but I would have tried to forgive her the best I can. Otherwise, who would listen to my lectures if I do not forgive myself? In the Vedas, there is this person, Acharya, the one who has personal experience. If we do not have personal experience, we cannot pass on some knowledge. And without personal experience, we cannot change other people's lives. So the basic reasons for disagreements between the spouses is the fate. The fate is such that there are different affections on our lives. In our heart, in this place, our deep memory is located. It is the place where our desires and actions coming from the past lives, they are like a ball surrounding our soul. And through this ball we see the whole world. And as the planets, they move around us, the planets, the space around us, it all has its character. Have you ever thought that the place we live in, it has its character? Just think, why in different parts of the world people with different characters live. For example, in the West, people are more practical, they are more cold in their relationships, they are more delicate and gentle in association. But for them it is more difficult to live together because they cannot understand each other. It's difficult for them to get close. They are more practical, more punctual, more generous. People are really generous there. And they also offend easily. They are colder, they are less close. This is in the West. In the East, people are more open, they are simpler, less practical. They get close quickly, they easily spoil their relationships. In the West, it is difficult to create relationships. In the West, it's easy to create relationships, but it is difficult to keep them. People in the West, once close, they live long together. Here, we get quickly together and we separate quickly. In the North, I'm going north next. People are more slow, they are more deep and inner, they are more cordial, they are more careful in their relationships because they get hurt easily. It is difficult for them to be optimistic, they are often depressed, but if they defeat their fate, they become very wise and deep. In the South, people are more joyful on the outside. They are prone to sensual enjoyment. They like good food, good enjoyment. They have open and optimistic character, but they have difficulties in building honest relationships. There is a lot of cheating and hypocrisy and sly behavior in the South. So you see, direction, it affects our life. The best direction is the East. The closer to the heart, the better, because in our heart is the soul. People are heartly in the East and intellectual in the West. It is like this all over the universe, not just on the earth. There also are up and down. In the Vedas, 6 basic directions are described. Everything above earth, there is more piety and purity. Everything below, there is dirt and sins. There is heaven above and hell below. In the human body, the higher psychic centers are connected to heavenly planets. They are pure. These are heart and mind. And the lower psychic centers are connected to hell, to dirt. Therefore, if people build their relationships on the lower centers, they only exchange bad qualities of character. If sex is the basic of their relationships, they argue all the time. If they build their relationships on high levels, they have more happiness in their relationships. Do you see? There is knowledge for everything. So, in the area of our heart, our fate is located. All the actions he did in the past, in this life and in the previous life, they are there. Just like when a person falls asleep, he forgets himself. Similarly, he dies and then he is born again. There are cycles for everything, as well as for human life. Day and night, the atom, it moves round on the circle. And the life in the universe, it has its cycles. Life in this world is meant for knowledge, but when the person is born, he wants happiness for himself, and it's a trap. When we meet our close person, the goal of life together is happiness. We do not want to live with a person who does not bring us happiness. Some people say, Oleg Gennadievich, I fell in love with this young girl completely selflessly. Our relationships are so pure. And I say, well, if you are so pure, then why don't you fall in love with some old lady? Why do you like a young girl? And immediately this person, he starts to think and he realizes that complete selflessness is impossible. If I am in love with a young girl, I just want to enjoy her body. But because in the beginning our relationships are quite elevated, it all looks selfless to us. But the idea of enjoyment itself always brings misery. In this world, there are two directions of life. The first one is towards the soul, inside. This means selflessness, disinterestedness. This means desire to serve. We reach our soul when we want to serve and not to enjoy. This desire is very difficult itself, to serve, to get detached from our happiness. For instance, for me, during this lecture, for me the most difficult thing is to detach myself from the thought that I'm a very good lecturer and you all are looking at me and listening to me. Just this thought, it gives me pleasure. If I'm in this wrong mood, then this lecture will fail. My goal now is to read the lecture so that your life got better. Then I will be truly happy, because firstly I make sacrifice and not have my happiness. And you would be happy as well this way, because the relationships, they go two-way. People often say, Oleg Gennadievich, I live fine with this man, but he's not getting any better. My experience is different. If I behave well with those who listen to my lectures, they become better. Therefore, the problem is in this normality. We often do not understand what it means to behave right with our close person, and it is hard to achieve because our desire to enjoy exceeds our desire to serve. This desire to enjoy launches bad fate. For example, I want to enjoy a man if I'm a woman. What does it mean, enjoying like a woman? It means that we must have harmonious relationships, we must easily understand each other, we must associate very gently, we must take care of each other, we must live in complete union and mutual understanding. And she thinks that man thinks the same, that he wants those harmonious relationships. A woman's psyche thinks that this is happiness just as soon as he understands it too. But I am so unlucky, because this man, he, for some reason, does not see these obvious things that all the other men see. For example, my friend, she met a boy, and he's so courteous, he's so kind towards her. But mine is not. But he's only gentle and courteous because they've just met. It will pass for sure in time. Because first God gives presents, just as well as a mother sees the soul in her baby. When you see the soul, you only see the good things about a person, because the soul is very good and pure by nature. You are all very good and pure. If I just can see that, I will read my lecture right. The problem is that when the person wants to enjoy another person, he cannot see the soul in him. He only sees shortcomings. For instance, we want to have good time together, we have sex, it is all great, it's a honeymoon. What are all the songs about? This drive, it goes, great life. This is the real life.
La 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 la. Знаешь, сколько я ждала? И это просто подарки.
And these are just presents. God gives this vision of purity in the other person, and when they get acquainted, the man, he behaves right, and the woman, she behaves the way man needs. For instance, the woman, she wants gentle voice and courteousness, and the man, he behaves accordingly. But he does not really need it. Only God makes it so that they get acquainted. It is not in his nature to be gentle and courteousness. It's a woman's nature. But when meeting each other, the man, he simulates this behavior. The woman, she is very attentive and caring, and so the man behaves like this. He sees the soul in her, and God gives him this vision. It's the end goal that they can read during the life. What does man want when he meets a woman? A woman's happiness is when a woman, she believes in him, she agrees with him, looks at him rapturously, as though he's the only one in this world. When she behaves timidly and delicately, she does not press her point. And the woman, she behaves like this. She is very timid. She agrees with everything. When he says he's a pilot, she is very happy. But actually, she never considered it before, that she wanted to meet a pilot. Love makes it so that the woman, she finds these things in herself. She only sees good things in the man. She is very obedient. She is devoted. But these are not womanly qualities. These are men's qualities that she reflects when associating with him. Men are obedient and devoted. They are prone to feeling rapture with something. She just copies him as a personality. But women are not obedient by nature. Later, she will not see anything good in him. A woman can see such tiny details in her husband's behavior that even he doesn't notice, and she will remember it her whole life. Men are not gentle by nature. Just take two men greeting each other. Hey, Basil, how are you doing? Ah, you're growing older, but, well, you're great. Just imagine him meeting his wife and behaving like that. They have different love, men. They are not gentle. They speak roughly and they like it. When two women meet, oh, my good one, how are you doing? Now imagine two men meeting like that. Ho, ho, ho. Maybe in the West it is possible now, because there are some great changes there. But here, I think it is still all fine.
From the
very beginning, our expectations are absolutely illusory. From the very beginning, the picture is wrong. The one you marry, and when the true picture is revealed, when sex is over, it is also weird. Other men are so gentle and courteous, and this one, he's so rude. He just walks around and demands something. And he's always been like that. All men are like that. Oleg Gennadievich, my wife, she does not fit in any lectures. She is always dissatisfied with something. She is always emotional. She dislikes this and that. Do not say this, do not say that. I must control my speech. Purity. Constantly some money are required, some things. She cannot stop. She needs this and that. She needs this no longer, she needs that. Always something new. How can I live like that? But this is a woman. This is her nature. Any woman is like that. There is nothing to do. And because people are egoistic by nature, everyone. Therefore, if I want to enjoy some person, I cannot understand him. I can only understand myself and my reflection. If he speaks gently to me, that means he is a good man, and if not, he is bad. This is egoism in women. If she is obedient, she is a good wife. If she doesn't, she is a bad wife. This is egoism in man. And he does not care what this person is like. It is impossible to understand another person when he enjoys him. And on the other side, it is all the same. We live together, we kiss and hug, we raise children, we earn money, we smile to each other, but we cannot understand each other. Why is that? Because we only enjoy each other. This is all. And in order to understand each other, we must do different things. We must have inner life, which in present times little people know about. Suffering occurs when I cannot reach the person next to me in my need to enjoy. This is the only reason for suffering.
желание счастья, а по сути
In the
иногда у
moment,
человека много
we want
требуется
happiness,
счастья,
and
иногда мало в
sometimes
жизни. Когда
the
мало
fate
требуется
dictates
счастья,
that the
женщина
person
не
who
парится,
needs much
потому что
happiness,
и так нормально. Но
for
когда
instance,
ей
if
нужно больше
the
счастья,
woman
она
she needs
становится
little
больше
happiness by
ранимой,
fate,
более ранимой,
she's okay, but if she needs much, she's more
как бы ситуацию переносит
sensible
разные
and
ситуации
vulnerable.
тяжелее. И она,
Different
так как
situations
человеку,
cause
который
her more
наслаждается,
pain.
всегда склонность есть только одна.
And because when a person
У любого
he
человека, у меня тоже, у вас,
tends to
винить
enjoy,
во всем не себя. Если я наслаждаюсь, я виню себя,
he tends to blame someone else for all the troubles and all the problems. If I serve and I live on a different level, I naturally see my faults.
Поэтому, видя,
Therefore,
что близкий человек не приносит мне столько
if you see
счастья,
that the
сколько я
person
ожидал,
close to you does not bring you as much happiness as you expected,
я
in some respect,
начинаю страдать.
I start to suffer.
И пытаться
And
объяснить ему,
I
что
try to
мне
explain
надо в
him
отношениях с ним.
what I
Но
need in
проблема
relationships
заключается
with
в том,
him.
что
But the
ему
problem is
этого
that
не надо.
he does not need that,
Потому что мы хотим только наслаждаться
because we
друг другом.
only want to enjoy each
И
other.
вроде бы мужское и женское
And,
тело и психика так устроены, что она
well, it
неестественно
looks like
наслаждают друг друга.
A man's and a woman's
есть
body
одна
and
хитрость.
psyche are made so that they naturally
Они
enjoy each
наслаждают, когда
other.
есть чем
But the trick
наслаждать.
is
У
that
человека
they
есть
enjoy
разные периоды
when
в
there is
жизни.
force
В
to
один
enjoy.
период у
There
него
are
счастья
different periods
больше,
in a person's
чем ему
life.
нужно для
In
жизни.
some
И это
time,
счастье передает супругу.
he has more happiness than
Вот
he
этого
needs,
чувства
and he can
симпатии,
pass on this happiness to his spouse. This
ощущение, что это мой человек.
mutual
Когда у него
attraction,
счастья
this
чуть
sense of
побольше,
comfort.
это счастье
When there
родственники
is
съедают.
some extra happiness, the relatives, they consume this happiness, and they feel fine next to this person. When the person has less happiness, what's next?
Ощущение несправедливости.
There is the feeling of injustice. For example, a simple situation. A husband comes back from work, and he's tired, he has little happiness, and his wife, she wants to enjoy relationships. Does she see that he's tired? No, she does not. She comes to him, and she greets him, she hugs him. What does she expect?
Она ждет теплых слов.
She expects kind words, attention. They haven't seen each other the whole day. My darling, I was so sad, I called you, and I was home all evening. My darling, I even opened the door. I waited for you so badly. He comes tired from work. What next?
Смотрите, как разворачивается ситуация.
How does the situation go? It's typical situation causing argument. The husband comes home when he's tired. He needs attention and care. The man, he comes home to have rest, not to serve his wife. He wants to have rest at home. This is the reason he got married. Women, they have this energy. They give relaxation. Women by nature are a bit lazy and relaxed. They like calmness. And this calmness is what men need. Man, he can get relaxed next to a woman, and that is why he gets married. He needs family. Of course, there are crazy people who need just sex, and they do not even understand that women, they give more happiness when you live with her, not just sleep with her. But such people are also there. And we have no rest. No rest, because there is no woman next to him. Burn, but leave. The chase, and a boiling blood.
Ну, рано или поздно же тык-дык заканчивается, хочется же покоя.
But sooner or later, this chase, it is over, and then there is a need for a wife. So the husband, he comes back from work, he wants some rest, and everything inside a house is made for relaxation. Such nice wallpapers, curtains and furniture, it is all so calming and relaxing. But the wife, she does not need relaxation, she wants attention. And the wife, she says, "Why didn't you look at me when you entered the house? I'm smiling at you." And he says, "Well, let me do it a bit later, I'm so tired." And she says, "You're always tired. And you say you will do it later, and then you just go and watch hockey. Just now, just once, smile at me. We met, we haven't seen each other the whole day." And he says, "Listen, I don't feel like smiling, I am tired." And she says, "Maybe you smiled at someone else there? Come on, what are you saying? I'm just tired. I worked all day. Let me have rest." "No one stops you, go have rest." Why are you speaking like this to me? Why are you sending me away? Give me a hug, kiss me, and I will be rested. I cannot kiss people like that. The one who cannot even say a gentle word to me after work. And there it goes. Sound familiar? What is the problem? Why is there a disagreement? There is only one reason for that. Just the lack of energy of happiness. She was waiting and she was tired. He is tired from work, there is nothing to give, but they both want to enjoy each other. And this difference, the desire to enjoy and nothing to give, this is the fight. There are no other reasons. There is only one reason. I want to have happiness, but no one gives it to me. And this is it. This is the reason. You are only guilty that I'm hungry. Do you remember this fable by Krylov? The lamb, he was trying to understand what was his fault, why the wolf wanted to eat him. The wolf thought it over and he realized that the only reason was because he was hungry. And the same is in the family life. And now here's the question, but maybe my close person, maybe I could find someone more selfless, because, well, this is too much. You do not even know my situation. Everything you tell, it is nothing in comparison to what happens in my life. No, everyone has it all the same. It's just that some people have more ability to be happy, and this comfortable life, it lasts longer. They enjoy each other for some longer time. And often this is the goal of life. People, they just search for someone who can enjoy them. The one who does not drink and smoke, the one who gives me flowers, was not boring. This is a dream. What does she want? She doesn't want to pass any tests. She just wants to find such person that the waterline of the ship is always above the sea. Do you understand it? It is an illusion. How can it be always above? It always goes up and down. What is the reason for arguments?
И понапрасну не надо, разные причины не надо, нам искать,
search for reasons in vain. We do not need to search for any reasons, because there is one love, and it is guilty of everything. It is guilty of everything, and this is it. This is the energy of life. It has spiritual nature. What is love? It is a selfless force, very pure force that brings happiness if you treat it right. But the problem is that love itself, when it goes into an egoistic, immature heart, it reveals another force, its lust, which is reason for all sufferings. When the person, he just wants to enjoy the person close to him, and he lives with this crazy desire, the same energy of love that is supposed to give happiness, it brings misery. Family life is easier for those who got acquainted in some neutral atmosphere. There are higher psychic centers, and when people get acquainted with harmony on high level, they become friends, they try to get to know each other, they do spiritual practice, they try to understand life. And people often tell me, Oleg Gennadievich, I cannot marry him. We don't, how can I say it? Well, you understand. There is no. And I say, well, even holy people, they have children. Yes. To see, the Eastern wisdom itself, it says that when people get acquainted calmly, they get to know each other, and when they understand each other, and they put each other through tests and they get married, their relationships will go down anyway. There is always lust. A woman's body always gives this desire to enjoy it. These desires, they appear anyway, there is no need to worry about it. But when at first the harmony, it was formed on the higher level, it is easier to live together, because then karma is not so hurtful, life is calmer. But everyone searches for a different thing, everyone wants this strong feeling. The strong feeling, it has nothing to do with higher psychic levels, because higher centers, they attract with something pure and very subtle. If during this lecture you get some strong feeling coming from me, that means that you do not listen to the lecture right. You must have this bright feeling, and a deep one, but not strong one. This emotional force of feelings, these are lower centers. When there is harmony on lower level, people, they feel this great sensual happiness together, and that means that they get attached to each other strongly, and they enjoy this happiness, and once the level of happiness is below the waterline, then great suffering comes. And there is just a Brazilian TV show going on. Do you understand it? Ourselves, we do not understand what relationships are and what love is. But if the family was created, even the most passionate relationships with good sex and a lot of argument, and then love and argument and so on, all like in those songs. If people have inner spiritual practice, they learn to forgive and to ask for forgiveness. And the spiritual energy, it does not spontaneously appear in people's life, like when you have a flint and there are sparkles coming. You must think of God and holiness, then the spiritual energy will come. In the psyche, it is reversed, it goes into a different direction. People normally have this outward consciousness, they want happiness, but they should serve instead. This inner consciousness comes from connection with holiness, and this outer consciousness is receiving enjoyment from the world. So, if the person does not have an altar in his home, spiritual music, he does not pray when he cooks, he does not try to think of God to read the scriptures, there is no chance at happy family life. There is just no, because what appears between us? There is attachment. Attachment means I want to be happy next to you. It means you must deliver happiness to me no matter what. Whether you have it or not, you must give it to me. If you don't have it, then we are not compatible, and I will consider if I will live with you longer because I am tired of you. But if there is happiness for me, I do not mind. We can live a bit longer together. This is called common law marriage. Because putting a signature, registering your marriage is sacrifice. It means we have some life, some love for each other. Not just enjoying each other, but loving, which is spiritual. If a person, he knows little about God, purity, conscious, then he puts a signature. If there are no, then it's a common law marriage. Common law marriage only means if some person has a bad period for 6 or 7 months, it usually happens that happiness, it vanishes from a person's life for some time. There is coldness in the heart, in the relationships, and then there is a goodbye. Goodbye, the trains are leaving from all trains to far-off countries. Goodbye, we are parting for good under the sky in January. Goodbye, say nothing, promise nothing, but just look at the sky and you will know what my sadness is. Great, huh? And then start over, and you think you are going to be well in the future. It is not like that. God creates relationships. The person, he cannot attach someone else to himself. Just try to attach someone to you. Try it. It doesn't happen. You cannot leave your close person. Everyone's experienced that. I want to leave him, but I cannot. Why is that? Because we are bound. And who did it? There is no emptiness in this world. There are no conditioned reflexes. All power, it belongs to someone. All energy, it comes from someone. And this energy binding people together, it comes from God. And if people, they destroy their relationships forcefully, they go against the force that gives them opportunity to get married in the future, and that is the problem. And so sensible people, they do their best to stay together, because the goal of the relationships is not to enjoy, but to pass the tests. And if it is unbearable, that means that you did many stupid things, you have many mutual problems, and for now you can live on some distance, but still you must solve your problems, because in the next relationships it is going to be the same. If you put all over this room, why is the next room going to be tidy? You move to the next room and you are going to pull it all the same. If you do not know how to clean the room, it will be the same. No, Oleg Gennadievich, it will be great there, because I am so elevated by nature that I only put this full. And in the next room it will be fine. Try it. We'll see. Experience changes nothing. For example, I have a foul smell from my mouth because I have stomatitis. Half of my teeth were removed, and now I have experience of having less teeth in my mouth. But I need a different experience. I must learn to brush my teeth. And this experience, it doesn't come from teeth getting removed. It comes from right association with those whose teeth are intact and who have always brushed their teeth. And this experience, it helps. Do you understand it? I'm sorry for speaking like this. I'm just making some special effects, although I think very good of you, just to have some fun during the lecture. I know I lived in Moscow for 8 years, I know how you get tired and all. So, the major reasons for arguments between spouses is suffering, because everyone wants to be happy. I'm getting older and still there is no happiness. And this bad person, he does not understand it. This is called attachment, and it causes disagreements. Attachment comes from desire to enjoy each other. The grosser the enjoyment, the stronger the attachment. If you just want to be next to this person, it's one thing. If you want to have sex, the attachment is 10 times stronger. Respectively, when the attachment is much stronger than your ability to serve, then people, they cannot even associate with each other. They just argue, because each second they fail in their desire to enjoy. I want happiness, and there is no. I want it, and there is no. I flew from Omsk for 4 hours today. Then there was a train, then a car. I arrived to the hotel, and I already envisioned myself in a hot tub. The water, it takes away those bad vibrations from the tube. You just have an hour or two of bath, then you take a cold shower, and it restores your strength completely. And I envisioned myself in this hot tub. I entered the hotel, and I had a room booked, and there were no rooms. So I had to wait for 3 hours, and I needed to take bath immediately. That is called attachment. I'm such a good person, I'm Oleg Gennadievich. And I seated there in the hotel, and I had this bad feeling. What is it? What's wrong? Where is my room? I arrived. Do you know, I got really tired. I wasn't so tired because of the flight, but during this hour of waiting and the room was suddenly found. I took my hot tub, but I noticed that in this hour of waiting, all the strength had left me. Do you know why? Because I believed in the hot tub more than I was supposed to, more than the fate allowed. If I didn't believe in it, I would have been fine. I put faith in it, and nothing more. Nothing. Because you must believe in God and not in man. You must serve your husband, you must take care of it, you must be faithful. It's a different thing. Believing in a man, in your husband, it's a blind feeling. And being faithful, it means performing your duties. It is crazy to have blind faith because every person is selfish and they build relationships to enjoy each other. But if I have contact with something holy in my life, I start to pray, I wish happiness, then the following things happen. Firstly, there is calmness in my heart. I know everything will be fine. The level of happiness is an appropriate level and there is enough for me and my close person. I pray more. And I start to remember the way we met each other. I see good things in him. I don't just enjoy him. I see this pure feeling that was there during our acquaintance. Next, I start to behave differently with him. I serve him more, I forgive him more, I accept his shortcomings, and then I accept him completely. Why is that? Because behind the exterior I see what's inside. The day before yesterday in Omsk, I had a conversation with a woman who had lived with her husband for 20 years. Now they live in adjacent rooms, they cannot get separated, but they cannot even look at each other. They had too much enjoyment. And I say, well, your husband is a good, kind person. I meditated on him and I told her that. And she says, yes, he is kind, but I say more. But he is so indulgent. Yes, he is, but... And so on. And then she chastises him. And this but, it means... What lacks in him that he didn't give me in love, and that is destruction of relationships. And this but is in each one's heart, because we are all affected by this force. When a man and a woman, they come together, this egoism, it increases endlessly, it starts to work like a flywheel. That means sure sufferings, expectations, they exceed ability to serve or to love, because love is only there in service. There are 3 stages of love. The first one is when I start to live due to my close person's interests, I start to look into his eyes, I try to accept him. This is the first stage, acceptance. One starts to understand his close person better and accept his flaws. The second stage is respect. The deeper you feel the person, the closer to the soul you are. Once you are close enough and you feel the depth, you start to respect the person. And when you respect, there is a different effect. The spiritual association, it gives this feeling. Many people who listen to my lectures, they think of me 10 times better than I can even imagine. They say such things about me, although I know I'm not this kind of person. but they see the soul in me. They see me differently, the way they need to see me. It is certain that I do not deserve such high esteem, but I am very grateful when I hear these words about me, and I only think that, wow, you're such an exalted person, I am not even close to you, and then spiritual relationships appear. This is respect. What is respect? Is when you behave yourself with a close person so that he does not even expect. You treat him really well. Take a piece of paper. Those who came together to this lecture, please raise your hands. This is for you. Take a sheet of paper. Make two columns. On the one side, your wife tries all the new good things she learned about her husband, and in the second column, the husband tries what new he learned about his wife. Then you both write down what good you did to your spouse today, and your relationships will get better for sure, because you will tune each other each day to see the soul in your spouse. Do you know what I'm saying? It is difficult. If you try to do it, you will find 100 reasons not to hang this sheet up, but try to do it and you will see good in your relationships. Improvement. Now to learn the material. Please raise your hands, those who know the reasons for arguments. Please pass the microphone. The third stage is faithfulness. I believe in you, in my darling friend, in this faith. It saves me from death in the cold, dark night. So, what are the reasons for arguments? As far as I understood, we must accept our close person and be attentive to him. Thank you very much for your understanding. You must always remember that the reason for disagreement and argument is because there is an enemy between you, your desire to enjoy. That is the reason. What you said is the cure, and the fact that you think of it is great. Thank you very much. What is your name? Svetlana. Thank you. How can you understand and accept your close person's character? I'm going to tell you about the stage of the illness we're in. Young men come to my medical center to learn the subtle vision on which my whole treatment is based. And they pick germs, the ones that suit some person. How do you think when they have eureka in their heart, they come up to me and they say, I found it. What did they find? What do you think? What did they find? Yes, they found a perfect stone for themselves. This germ, it does not feed the patient at all. They just find a perfect stone for themselves by putting it on the patient's hand. This is harmony. This is our stage of illness. Why can't a painter sell his work? Because he paints perfectly for himself. No one else needs his pictures. No one else in the world can see this picture like he does. In order for him to become a good painter, he must suffer really well, he must pray well, think of God and holiness, and he must draw this painting so that everyone else could see it, because when the painting is written for someone else, then it is drawn for everyone. Everyone needs love, and the egoism we live in is required by no one. Why would no one marry a girl? She asks me, Oleg Gennadievich, no one would marry me, because you are unable to love other people. All you do in life is expect your personal happiness, and you only think of it and nothing else. And if you could just for a moment get distracted from yourself and start to take care of cats and dogs, of people around you, of your parents, who surely need your love, because all women, they have this energy of love, and it is you need, and everyone needs this love very badly. If just for a little bit you got distracted for yourself and you desire of personal happiness and started to take care of everyone around, you cannot imagine how your looks would change. It would have been so that every man would need it, absolutely everyone, and all would be jealous of the one who marries you. You may test me, or you may trust me, but yesterday I dreamt that a prince came to me on a white horse. I swirled and I twisted. I worked all day, and that is why I probably lost my shoe. Well, I feel that you've been touched by my words, and please tell me the truth. I accuse you of nothing. I'm very grateful to you. I'm very sorry, I have a question. You say that there is a lot of love in a woman, and isn't there in a man? No, there is no. There is a little bit, but egoistic women, they want to see love in men. They torture them all the time because of it. Did I say something wrong? Then tell me, there is 1,000 people in this hall. Imagine if everyone gets misguided. I just do not want to think that there is no love in man. And I'm sorry that women do not understand that there is no love in men. Well, some women at least. Men are the ones who need love. But they have one quality. We're having a conversation now. You wanted it. Men have one quality, an amazing one. It is much stronger than in women. Do you know what that is? It's the reflection of the energy of love. Man has this gratitude for love. Man cannot be ungrateful for love. How does it work? If a woman is gentle with a man, he becomes gentle in return, and that is enough for her to be happy. But money first, goods later. This is how it works. And there is a rule in this world. It is called performing your duties. The modern culture, it is built on our needs. We only speak of our needs, and even psychologists say, describe your needs to each other. In ancient cultures, the needs, they came second. The first are the duties. In ancient culture, people knew that unless they followed their duties, he wouldn't be able to satisfy his needs, because it is a reward. No reward, no satisfaction, and reward comes itself when God wishes it. How can you know your close person's character? Only from the scriptures. Our egoism is so overdeveloped that we cannot understand our close person's character at once. In order to do that, we must be distracted from our desires on his account, and we must start to serve him. And that is a very high level of consciousness development. Very little people are there. That they wish nothing and always serve. The more you serve, the clearer the character is. But you must do it selflessly, and it is extremely difficult. All people serve each other. Doesn't a wife serve her husband? She cooks and washes and cleans, and the husband, he works, he brings money. There is always a part of life in which selflessness is manifested. For instance, a woman, she can take care of everyone at home, but she cannot take care of ungrateful people. In other words, the woman, when she takes care, this care is extremely expensive, because she never forgets how much she did. She is ready to do everything to take care, but it is going to cost. The man, he also can work, earn money, and bring them home, but everyone must know who brought the money. And unless they don't, then a war starts. We can all serve, but the problem is such service is not required by anyone. One man, he told me, I cook for myself because when my wife cooks, it's too costly, I cannot pay her back. It is easier for me to cook myself. And one woman, she told me, it is easier for me to earn my money than to make my darling man do it. It is too costly in this world. Ergo, one person can only understand another person's character through knowledge. If you want to know the character, just study it in general, the character of men and women. And also, when I describe man's character, who writes it down? Women. Women should write it down in order to serve better. And when I describe man's duties, men should write it down. Normally, it's another way around. When I tell of men's duties, women write it down, and then they destroy their family. Their husband is done. When I describe women's duties, men write it down. One woman did so that her husband started to listen to my lectures. I'm telling this to all the women. There is a great way to make your husband listen. In my family relationships lectures, there is a section about women's duties. Take this section and play it to your husband. He will listen to it with pleasure. He will memorize everything. And every day he will recite it to you. What you must do for him. This is the way each person's psyche works. We all want to know our spouse's duties for them to perform them perfectly. This is the way each person's psyche works. But you must know that we must forget about these duties. The man, he must not know what the woman is obliged to do, just as well as the woman must not know what the man is supposed to do. She just must know what she is supposed to do and wish nothing in return, as best she can. And when she acts this way, she has a drop of happiness accumulated that makes her life happy afterwards. Each drop is collected with another drop, and then there comes an amazing moment in each family's life. First comes the ability to bear your close person, then to respect him, and then to be faithful. And it is mutual, but it comes one step behind. When you respect your close person, he bears you in return. When you are faithful to him, he starts to respect you, and then he catches up with you. Because in relationships, always one person serves and another one accepts. In all your relationships, it is like that. One serves, another accepts. The one who accepts is more insolent. He takes more, and he demands more, and that means that he has something to give. One person, he serves, and another one, he gives love. But in time, they must switch. The one who used to serve must do it right, and as a result, the one who gives love, he starts to respect his close person and serves in return. And it switches a few times in their lifetime. Raise your hand to the ones who feel there is injustice in your family, that you do so much for your close person and he does not understand it. Are there people like this? Is there no one, or have you got no families? This means that you serve and he accepts, and it is good. You progress better in this case. You have a better progress. He gives you opportunity to progress. Can you hear me? And then he will progress next to you once you are done. No one raised their hands. Have you got no families? You're all scared. Am I scary? The character of your close person is only understandable when there is no use for it anymore. When there are right relationships between people, there is no need to study character anymore. They live good as it is. And only when you're ready to serve, wishing nothing in return, the character of your close person is obvious to you. It is revealed. You see the soul. The character is something light and pure in person. And some people think that character means seeing all flaws and shortcomings. They tell me, oh, I know his character. No, you don't. You just know the things that destroy your relationships, and this is all. Love is manifested there where it is clean. If you see just flaws, there is no love. And if good feelings, they overwhelm you, that means you invest much in your close person, and it is hard work. The only way to understand and accept your close person's character consists of two stages. The first stage is studying. A woman, she studies man's character and vice versa. I have actors and they made a wonderful play. Everyone just cried during this play. I'm just making a small pause in this lecture. We have Благость Goodness Festival. It is held in Anapa and it starts in September, very soon. It will last 2 weeks, and if you go there, you will have the best time of your life. You are going to see amazing relationships. Over 600 people are coming, and unmarried women must surely come, because there you can get acquainted with someone. Not necessarily with men, but at least with someone who will introduce you to some good man later. So the progress will start, because a woman cannot meet someone for just one reason, because she's in the mode of passion. When a woman is in an ignorant atmosphere, she has no chance at meeting someone. When the atmosphere is passionate, the woman, she feels lonely and she cannot get acquainted. People get acquainted only there where family is. A woman is a family person, and only real friends and comrades are in the mode of goodness. Which one of you have been to this festival before? Do you agree with me? Yes, you do. And at this festival, Благость, there was this wonderful play in which two actors, they switched places. The man started to feel the character of the woman, and the woman, she started to feel the character of the man, and they expressed their feelings. It looked like this. The man, he started to touch his body and say, "Oh, it is so sensitive, so painful. I see everything differently, so many details," and so on. He started to describe this feeling of a woman. And the woman, she started to feel this condition of the man. Right before that, they had a terrible argument and they decided to part. And then this understanding came, what a woman is, what a man is, and why they behave some way. And when the audience saw that, they felt such a great revelation. You can do it on stage, but you do not know if it will work in your everyday life. Normally, your desire to enjoy it overwhelms your mind. But first, you must study the character of your close person, and then you must serve him in the correct mood, thinking about holiness. For example, I cook for my husband, and I must think of God in that moment. Then this process of cooking is not contaminated by the desire to enjoy his opinion about the meals. When a woman, she thinks of God during cooking, she can feed her husband and be sure that this food, it will make both of them happy. He will get this feeling of gratitude towards his wife, and she will have calmness in her heart, no matter if he praised her or not.
Все, микрофончик.
Please pass the microphone. There's a practical question, valuable to everyone. You are a very serious person who really listens to my lectures, because everyone listened, but only you asked this important question. What does it mean to think of holiness during cooking? Do you have something holy in your life? To be true, I cannot visualize something, but do you have an icon, some holy place, some scripture? I do have a holy person in my life. Just place this icon there where you cook. Holiness you feel is connected to some event. Maybe you saw that person as holy, or you heard of her as holy, or you felt that some event took place in your life that brought you this holiness. Please tell me what it was. There was no situation. I bought this icon when I went to Vladimir. This is the situation. And this saint person, she is Antonina, and this is also my name. So that is why she is holy. Well, to me it is quite difficult to perceive her. Why is it? Do you know that our names are special? It indicates towards the fate. Children are never named by accident. That means that the saint Antonina, she protects you, and you felt it in your heart and bought the icon. Do you remember now? To be true, no. I remember more than you do, it looks like it. Then it is not holy to you. To know holiness, you must have experience, you must search. I suppose you do the following. Put the icon on the table where you cook, and when you cook, think like this. I want this food to be filled with your purity. I want to serve you like this, because you are a saint, and the goal of your life is to give happiness to other people. You do not live for yourself. And by thinking like this, you cook. I want this food to be filled with your purity. I want to be your servant in this manner. By filling this food with your purity and by feeding my close people with it. I hope you do not think that this is just some fairy tale, because I do this every day. And in order for me to help you, I must think very highly of you. And for that I need to see your qualities. For example, I need to see that you, by nature, are a very simple person. Simplicity is a quality of a holy person. Each person's soul, it has some quality. You are simple and kind. Did I see you right? I hope so. It is difficult for me to speak of myself. Did you like what I said? I understood what you said. Do you understand that I can feel you? About this holiness, I hope you do. And similarly, once you start to think about this icon and cook, in this mood I want to serve you so that your kindness and purity went to my relatives. Then, after several times like this, you will see true qualities of Saint Antonina. you will start to feel what she's really like. And as your relationships develop, the feeling will go so deep that you will perceive her as a personality, not just like an icon, a picture, but as a personality. And it wouldn't be a fairy tale or illusion, it will be the force that will help you in life afterwards. I'm going to tell you how. Now see, you have some difficult period and you feel bad. You start to cook, thinking about this icon, and your heart will fill with calm and peace. Is this real interference with your life? You feel bad no longer at all. Is this actual interference? Yes, but this is not all. There will be time when you will be desperate in your life and you are going to really need help from above. And instead of running to a psychologist, you will start thinking about the icon, and first you will be calm in your heart, and then you will get knowledge what to do. It will be a real event. Please raise your hands who experienced it. Look how many people here. Did you hear my instructions on how to cook? Yes, everyone has an instruction of his own. Some people have a holy book or a picture of a holy place, but it is always personal. It's always relationships. Some people cook with holiness like this. They just murmur something under their nose and they think that then the food becomes holy. If you murmur a prayer, you must know exactly what you are doing. For example, in Omsk, the newlyweds came to my lecture. The groom, he was in a suit, and the bride, she wore a veil, and they made a vegetarian wedding at a restaurant earlier than usually. They made it early in the morning, from 9 or 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And do you know why they did that? Because the whole wedding went to the lecture afterwards. And during the lecture, we made an experiment. The husband, I made him repeat the following: I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And he did that for about 30 seconds, and then I asked the wife, did you hear that he loves you? She said, no, but he repeated it multiple times. And then I asked him to remember their first meeting and her eyes in that moment. And to say one time, I love you. To say it with this memory in your heart. And when he did, she started to cry. And did you feel it? And she said she did. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is how you should feel about holiness. You should remember what happened, and with this feeling, you must pray, or cook, or do anything else. If there is no memory, it all makes no sense. It's just a waste of time. If you come to a temple and you do not feel respect for this place, and you bow down, there is no use in bowing. Once I caught myself. There were a lot of temples and I was on a pilgrimage. I went into one temple. I hit my head on the floor, I went up to the altar, and I didn't know whether I bowed or not. I caught myself at this. I did not know whether I bowed, and I understood this pilgrimage made no sense. And so I slowed down and I started over. I entered the temple. First I waited for this feeling of respect and gratitude inside me, and then I bow down. And these are the relationships you should build. Now see, the first rule you must surely remember after this lecture. In your normal state of mind, you are always egoistic, and that means that you understand no one and you wish not to, even though I may think that I do. When you start to think of holiness and do something for my close person, then my consciousness is switched, and for me it is easily to act selflessly. I feel that I take care of my close person, and I do not feel resentment that I've been doing it for so long and he does not notice it. But there will surely be a feedback. He will notice it. First, he will feel gratitude in his heart, and then he will give it back. The problem is just that we trust ourselves too much in the relationships, and we must trust something that gives us strength. The knowledge is that a woman is very sensitive by nature. She feels 1,000 times more, and she must be treated very carefully and gently. If she speaks emotionally, then she is hurt. You must try to understand this pain and not to be afraid of it. When a woman speaks emotionally, it hurts a man's heart, and he is scared. He does not want to listen to it. He thinks that she just wants to hurt him. When the woman is in a bad mood, that means that she cannot make it good, because a woman's character is fickle, just like a river, that first it flows one way, then another, and just like that, a woman's mood, it flows different ways and she cannot hold it. And because family happiness is dependent on a woman, the man is usually very nervous when her mood is bad. So the man must know that when his wife is in a good mood, there are no duties, everything is fine as it is, because a woman in a good mood, she just gives happiness to everyone. I'm addressing men, and you should be quiet and listen. I'm telling the man about women's character. And another feature of a woman's character is impatience. Women cannot be tolerable, and she must not be made to. If she has some desire, the man must be very condescending about it, because unlike women, men can easily take their desires, and women, they almost cannot do it. If she has some desire, she cannot hold it back, because she flows like a river. The man, he is the banks. So, women by nature is made of the energy of love. She lives in relationships, and they are very important to her. It is important to her to be understood, because she is the central figure in relationships. She is the conductor in the family. And unless people notice that her life is useless, when she guides everyone this way, everyone must follow. And women cannot remove this from their character. Everyone must be in the same emotional mood as she is. This is the way nature works. The man next to a woman, he must express emotionally how he understands her. I say this in order for the man to understand. It is an austerity. Some men think that this is a humiliation, to jump in front of a woman. But then we can do it before man. Just many men marry men these days. Then it's easy. Because when there are two men, it is all understandable. But God made it so that men and women come together and nothing is easy. And we must study. Then, gentle association. You must speak gently and softly and kindly. You can never develop logic in front of a woman. You must never do it. If a man starts being smart and being logical, saying some smart things, the relationships are being destroyed. You can never be logical. If you want to say something, just stay right at the end of your monologue. Make no explanations, just say the end, and then if she wants some explanations, you can rewind a little. If she wants more, you can rewind a bit more and more. It's better this way. But if you start from the top, then she will get sweaty listening to you till the end. This is women's nature. They need no logic, they just want end result, what exactly you want to say. For example, you want to go to the movies. How does a man think? He says, these days there are a lot of movies. And I recently found out that there is one amazing production that is different from others. And a woman, she gets sweaty already. You must just say, let's go watch this movie. She may ask, why? And she may not, she may just say, let's go, and then you just go. If she asks, why? You may say the next part, because this movie is better than other. Then rewind a bit more, and why do you like it? You may say, this is a unique production, and so on. So you rewind little by little. Women, do you agree with me? Yes. The next point. A woman, she pays much attention to details, and love for her means that you dumb look. You must try to notice these details. You must practice. For example, when you see your wife after work, you must take a look, you must try to take a look at her hairstyle, because men, they usually see in general. But you must try to concentrate your attention on her hairstyle and memorize it, and you say nothing. And the following day, you may say, I like your new hairstyle. And it was different yesterday. And it will make her happy. She's going to like it that you noticed, because she waited for this her whole life. The next point. Women, they have this need in their life that she can never convey to her husband. And the only one who can convey it to you. And the need is this. In her heart, a woman, she has this problem. She is always tortured badly by some emotion. And this emotion only releases her if her close person understood her. For example,
что сильно обиделась на подружку.
She feels resentment towards her friend.
Ей не надо объяснять, хорошая подружка или плохая.
You do not to explain your wife if her friend is good and who is right or wrong. She just needs this one. When she tells you that she feels resentment to her friend, you must come up to her, look in her eyes, you must see this resentment and say, I see it. You feel resentment, and I understand you. This is all. There is no need to say anything else. She does not need you to solve her problem. She does not need you to explain how to behave with her friend, not to get resentment. She does not need it. She just needs what I described, nothing more. And if the man asks, why do you need that? He asks that, I'm now speaking to the man. Women must be quiet. When I speak to women, then you can ask questions. Because if women start to speak when I'm talking to men, there is going to be no happiness. What he says is not his problem, it is yours. Do you understand? Now, women have one quality in their character, an amazing one. Women, they accept the truth easily, really easily, when they trust the man. And they only trust the one whom they feel like trusting. Therefore, it is useless to try to become such a man for your wife. It is impossible. You just live next to her and know that if you do not bother her on this matter, at some point of your life you will see that she suddenly trusts you. And know that this moment may go away just as quickly as it appeared. Because the woman herself cannot control it. She sometimes feels like trusting and sometimes not. Remember it, men. It means that you just must be calm about it. That is your duty. You must be okay that she does not trust you. And when you are okay, for that calmness, she starts to respect you and she thinks that you are a sensible person. And then she can trust you. Maybe she doesn't trust you outwardly, but she does inwardly. But if the man he demands trust to himself, the woman can never respect or trust. It is impossible. If the man says, don't you trust me? There is going to be no happiness. You must give the woman the opportunity not to trust. You must take it calmly, because the river, it flows one way, then another, and it is okay. If the water flows this way, that means soon it will shift its direction. And the woman herself, she accepts it about herself, she knows it. For example, she comes to her husband and says, well, yes, yesterday I was very emotional, and I called you an idiot. But you understand I'm a woman, and I didn't mean anything bad. I just felt offended. And now, if the woman herself does not pay much attention to the words she says, why should man? Women, do you agree with me?
So,
if a woman speaks emotionally to her husband and calls him something, it does not mean she really thinks it. It just means that she was offended, she felt resentful. And being like that, the only thing she wants to do is to offend her husband. And to do that, she remembers his most sensible place in his psyche and tells exactly what is needed, and she does it unconsciously. There is no use to be offended. And I'm very serious. One girl approached me once, and she said, I have a big problem. I say such bad things to my husband, and then I'm so sorry about it. Please, women, raise your hands. Who does not have this problem? 3, 4, 5, 6. Super. Never. Please pass the microphone. We're going to learn the truth now. What women have no such problem? Are you married? No? So please pass the microphone on. Everything lies ahead. Everything lies ahead. Hello. If I say some bad things to my husband, I do it consciously. Oh, so this is it. You do tell, but you do it consciously. Always. This is my third marriage. I used to behave differently. So you are always responsible for your words? Well, I try to. No, you always are. If it comes to saying some bad things during a fight, I do it consciously. Consciously. It is stupid to call the person some names unconsciously. And doing it consciously, is it not stupid? When you do it consciously, that means you do not respect this person, you feel some resentment, so there is no use to live together any longer. Well, I agree with you. Man, do you understand how to behave? I'm going to tell you a story for the women. I am not speaking out of spite to the women, but in order to develop understanding. It's a serious matter. There is an inspiring story. It's Vedic. One sage, he had disciples, and he explained to them that because a woman, she is the source of love, she is always the leader in the family. But outwardly, wise women, they give this leadership to men. Because women is the source of love, everything happens as she wants. But the wise women, they always say that her husband is her master, and that she will do as he wants. Then there is peace. But this sage, this teacher, he explained to his disciples some deeper things. He said that actually in family life, The strong man is the one who is able to obey his wife. A really respectable, strong and man is the one who is able to obey to the character of his wife. And he asked, please step forward those who obey your wife's character. And all but one stepped forward. And when he came up to that one person, he asked, are you really able to disobey your wife? And he answered, no, it's just my wife asked me not to step forward. We here have such a conversation now. It is all great. I'm sorry. May I ask a question? Super. Is it a good one? I've been married for 10 years and I haven't seen anything bad in all these years. And please give the microphone to your wife. Oh, she's a bit shy. Yes, she's right here next to me. Please say truly, otherwise I'm going to feel completely disqualified. Just be truthful. I'm afraid. I think I called my husband names. No, just be true. I'm sure you said nothing bad, but just be true. Do you sometimes think badly of your husband? Yes, I do. But I can refrain from talking. This is it. You think, but you do not say. Well, okay, thank you. This is right. It is better this way. You may think, but you do not speak. It means sensibility and self-control in a woman. But it is impossible not to think badly of your husband. I'm going to explain it to you. It is very important what I'm about to say. Man's egoism, it enjoys women's nature and exploits the world outside. The man, he obtains his superiority in his business, in social area. He tries to be perfect there. So the main problem for man is the feeling of his inferiority in society. This feeling, it destroys his life and tortures him. It's his major problem. Now, a woman, she enjoys the world, the society, but she searches in victory, superiority in her relationship with a man. Man searches superiority in the relationship with the world, and he enjoys his relationship with the woman. And the woman, she wants superiority in her relationship with the man, and she enjoys the world. Do you see the difference? So when a man blames his woman for trying to defeat him in everything, it is madness, because this is the nature. It is like blaming the man for trying to reach success in this world. Just the same, the woman, she searches success in her relationships. That is basic nature. It is interesting that a woman, she does not enjoy a man. She enjoys the fact that she enjoys the man. She likes the way the man behaves himself with her and not the man himself. And the man, he likes the woman herself. And the way she behaves, she usually does not like it. The man likes the woman, and the woman likes the way he behaves. So the man must learn to behave right. And the woman must learn to be the way her husband likes. But for a woman to behave right next to her man, it is extremely difficult. She must be a very exalted person. And it is difficult for the man to take her husband. And so women must understand it. And then there will be harmony. Now about the men. Men, do you have questions about women? I described everything in general, shortly. There are a lot of things I didn't say, but this is the basics. Not yes, I see you said wrong. I explained it to you. That you must come up to your wife, you must look her in the eyes. You must see her pain. And then there is no need for words. You just take her hands, you can say, I understand you. Олег Геннадьевич,
у нас практически очень важный вопрос сейчас в обсуждении. Мы сейчас пытаемся понять истину с вами. Для всех мужчин, которые здесь присутствуют. Что понять ее очень сложно, очень сложно. Женщины думали, что мужики уже все поняли, ничего подобного. Ну, все.
Sometimes I want to understand the woman, I want to just hug her, rudely speaking. But at the same time, you must hug her softly speaking, not roughly speaking. Well, then sometimes at work, some women, they complain that their men, they do not listen to them, that they are always quiet. How do you know when to speak and when not to? Thank you very much. That is a very good question. The borderline is there. The man is not the conductor in relationships with his wife, and even with his children. He is not the conductor of the orchestra. Therefore, he should not be worried trying to understand whether he needs to speak or not. The wife, she will do everything herself. When you must speak, she will tell you about it. And if you try to speak when it is not required, you will also know. So there is no need to worry. If your wife comes to you and tells that she feels resentment for her friend, that means that at least you must pay attention to her. But she needs no explanations. She just needs your reaction to her feelings, because this feeling, it hurts her. You must come to her, take her hands. There's no need to speak. You just look at her attentively. You must be very humble. And then you say, I understand you. And this is it. And you must not speak rudely, you must express yourself softly. Do you understand me? Well, that's arguable. Oh, if it's arguable, then you will learn from your mistakes, either me or you. But we are not going to argue, because everyone came here to listen to me. We're talking to the men. Oh, so we're discussing man's nature now. Please speak up. You say that women are disobedient by nature, but when you speak of right behavior, it looks like it does not match our nature, but we're happy when we follow our nature, so our nature goes even deeper. Yes, you're right. Our nature is deeper than what is on the outside. When a person acts according to his true ego, the woman, she becomes humble and obedient, and so on. And the man, he becomes just like the woman needs, gentle and kind. These are the qualities of saintly persons. And so I tell you now that you should not pay attention to this, because if you want to marry the man who really deeply understands the woman, it means that he is a saint or almost saint. You see, it is very hard to achieve for a man. This man who's just spoken, this is an ordinary man. Roughly speaking, I want to hug her. This is normal. This is how men feel in life. He's like that. And the woman, she must accept him like that. And women, they do not want this. That means they do not want to serve, because serving is accepting the person as he is, not the way you want him to be. And when you come home now, you are going to say, I know the way a man is supposed to behave, and actually I told these things to the man. And in this manner you just ruin your relationships. The woman must not know the way the man is supposed to behave with her. She must know how she should behave. So, now, information for the women. Yes, I am listening to you.
Как сделать так, чтобы больно не было? Никак не сделаешь, будет больно. Микрофончик дайте, у нас важный разговор сейчас с мужчиной. Я вот это вот качество мужчины уже. Пошли качество мужчины сейчас, видите, да? Ну так. Микрофончик будет там, где он будет. А не где говорят. Это тоже по-русски. Ну, хорошо. А вы сейчас проявляете мужественность, да? Ждете, да? Я вас слушаю.
Олег Геннадьевич, you spoke about that in this modern world women take up men's roles, and I know your creative work on this account. This is man-like style. It's okay. So I faced that what the woman she wanted before. She has the goal, but 5 years later it's different. And so it's normal. The river, it flows. But there are things women must do and men must do. But in the modern world, their roles, they are mixed. You're right. How do you keep relationships? Who must make the first step towards each other? I know you say we must start with ourselves, but this force is given by women. Oh, I get it now. So, goods first, money later. Yes? Please explain it to me.
Хорошо. Микрофончик отдавайте.
I'm going to explain it. It's a bit a different topic. We talk of the qualities, but I'm going to tell you shortly, because otherwise it's going to take the whole lecture. Now see, if a woman does not perform her duties in life, and she does not want to serve her man, she just wants to do what she wants, she becomes rude and manlike. And if the man does not perform his duties before his woman, and he does not want to bear her character, he becomes womanly. Why is that? Because there is a law that I become what I enjoy. Now look, a woman enjoys a man. What happens to her? She becomes more manly. And the man enjoys the woman, and he becomes womanly. And when we see old people, it is fully revealed to us. Because the old lady, she is very commanding, and the old man, he's so soft and sweet. Do you see that? Олег Геннадьевич. Therefore, if your roles are upside down, that is no problem. You were born a man and she was born a woman. That means that you try to behave accordingly. And the more you behave like a man, the more womanly she is. For example, usually you get offended, but if you don't, but instead you behave strictly, then she cannot become strict. She becomes offended because she was born a woman. And if it doesn't happen, then you must be even stricter, even harder. Then it will happen. So, everyone takes their positions when they become stronger. Improve yourself and everything will gradually change. It just takes time. Wait a little. This is shortly, but this is a big discussion. Let us start from the top. You said that a woman is a river, and when it flows, how to make so that she does not wash away the banks. First, you said a bit differently, and it was important. You said, Олег Геннадьевич, how do I make so that her emotions, you have realized knowledge, how do I make so that her emotions do not hurt me in my heart? It is impossible. Well, you can never make her emotions not hurt you in your heart, but you can make so that you can take this pain. For that, you need to sleep on a firm surface, you must take cold showers, you must do physical exercises every day, you must fast sometimes. You must learn to live so that if you said something, you do it, at least a little bit. Then you must learn to pray every day. In other words, you must become austere. It is the force, the ability to bear something. And this ability is the main quality of the man. If the man is able to endure, to bear something, everything that happens, the woman, she will be endlessly happy next to a man like this. 100% guarantee. Is this about women? Go on. You say that women are conductors in the family. You say that a bit resentfully. Well, no, it's just that I want to understand how to behave right. Because in some situation he thinks that he is right and it must be done differently. But the woman, she wouldn't yield. It is logical to endure it, just to bear it, but how do you do it? When a woman tells the man to endure it, it is impossible to endure. Please do not exceed your limits. When we are speaking about men's behavior, we are speaking to the man. Understand this. If you tell your husband that you must just bear it, I've been told so by Oleg Gennadievich, then your relationship will get worse. If you say it once more, it will get even worse. Everyone must take care of their duties and ignore some misbehavior on your close person's part. This is love, and all the rest is destruction of love. Please, I ask all of you. So, I'm very grateful to you for your question.
Нет, давайте мы возвращаемся назад. Нет, вне семьи. Вопрос в том, что лучше и как заниматься вне семьи. Что это такое? Духовная практика, духовное развитие. Вне семьи? А зачем вне семьи?
Well, it's a bit off the topic. If the husband he tries to pray and his wife rejects it, that means that your karma or what follows you, it does not allow you to pray. That means that you are not deserving to pray. And what can you do? You must increase the spiritual level of the family, and it means investing into your wife. You should take care about her. You must be manly and correct in your behavior, and gradually she will stop hindering you. When close people, they do not allow the person to do the spiritual practice, that means lack of love and mutual understanding. That means you must follow your duties, you must do investments, and your close person's heart, it will smell. You serve someone and he understands you in return. But we didn't finish the previous question. Let us go back. So the question is, if the man, he knows for sure that his wife's decision is not so right, but naturally there is no use to argue, so what should the man do? He must just do. You just do. The man is always the man. If he sees that this is right, he just does so. He does not need to argue. He just must do. How do you think? Do women act in family life or do they argue? Just answer my question. I guess they try to act. No, they just argue. And who acts in the family? Men do. And if the husband, he acts, then what does the woman do? She just argues. Thank you very much. So, if a woman, she argues, then you can humbly explain to her, but if she wouldn't listen, then you just do what you think is best. And everything will be fine. It is normal. The woman, they naturally accept men's actions, but arguing with the woman, it is madness. So, women, now listen. You've just seen man's character reveal. Listen on. By nature, men always fight. They cannot live without victories and without getting their way. So men, they are a bit out of understanding what is going on. They go deep into their idea, and for them it is difficult to see the surroundings, to understand the present situation, and you must not blame them for them. It is crazy to blame a man for not understanding the situation. Do you see that? For example, a man, he stands on his point. What should a woman do? She must agree with him or just leave. She may say, I agree with you, and then go off cooking. Well, just do something. If a man starts his philosophy, what should you do? You just agree and you go off and you cook. Do you need to argue with him? Can you defeat a man? No, it's impossible. Because a man, he is like a train, and he moves towards his purpose. The train goes on. He moves to the purpose, he cannot stop. It's his life. If you want to stop him, you are going to destroy him. Let him move on. If the train reaches a dead end, then what? Just the same, he will go back and very fastly, and if you ask him, why did you go back? He will answer, I always understood that I was supposed to go back and not there. Then why did you go there? Just to make sure. Do you see, he has a different logic. A woman, she does what is right, and a man, he does as he understands. Do you see the difference? If the man does not do as he understands, then he is not a man, or he is underdeveloped. A developed man, he does as he understands, and you must not change his mind. The woman, she must leave man's understanding alone. She must not torture him about it. But the woman, she must correct his understanding. These are two different things. For example, the man decided to build a house. Immediately. Take a big loan and build a house right now. That's it. Should you tell him that he should not build? No. You must sit down next to him and ask him, how are you going to build a house? And he will tell you, I'm going to do this and that, I'm going to take a bit loan. Then you must tell him, that is great, that is a brilliant idea, you must inspire him. The train, it goes ahead, you must allow it. Then you flip the switch. How do you do that? You must say, let us draw the house. I agree with you completely. Let's just draw it. Now, we both have this much per month, and we must give away this much. You see the difference? I understand that we are going to give this money back, but I have some doubts. And just as calmly he will say, we are going to take 2 times less money and we are going to build half the house, but we are going to build it right now. Yes, that is right. Now see, we have a debt from last time. When are we going to give it back? Now or later? If later, then Peter, he's going to kill us. Do you remember it? Oh, now you do. Well, okay. Now we are building the house as quickly as possible, just as soon as we give the money back. Do you understand the system? In other words, we are not building the house, we are giving the money back to Peter, just as we used to. Nothing changes, but the goal is to build the house, and we are moving towards it. What happened? It all goes as it used to. The life is just the same, but the goal is there, and it is good. That means the husband, he wouldn't drink, smoke, and just go. The woman is usually afraid when she hears such things from her husband, like, oh, we're going parachute jumping. You must not be afraid. The woman, she must see the details and sober up her husband. She can flip the switch and the train would go backwards, but the husband wouldn't see it, really. Do you understand? So, the man by nature, they are really determined, they have this idea, and the woman, she cannot destroy this idea, she just must put it into parts, she must see the details, and the idea in time may switch to the opposite one, and it is still normal. But the man, he must always move. Even this forward is moving backwards, it's still forward for him. The next point. Now see, when women listen to the lecture, what do? Well, you cannot see yourself, but you do it like this. Now look. They catch every word, they trust every word, they write it down, and they do just the same, without changing everything. So from this point of view, when women receive knowledge, they easily master it and they implement them perfectly. Now, how do men listen? Look at me, it does not mean that they are worse. They are different. Men listen like this. So they do not mind me, but they just listen differently. Do you see the difference? They are completely different. They listen with some doubt. Why is that? Because by nature, men doubt and not trust. They doubt in order to understand better. So, women are better in the area where they understand better, and men are better in the area where they have some doubts and questions. The psyche is completely different, and it is crazy to blame a man for doubting. For example, a woman says, Oleg Gennadievich, why wouldn't he listen to the lectures? I like the lectures, I follow everything, and he wouldn't even listen. That's nature. It doesn't mean that he does not agree, it's just that he needs to check it. Men need to check everything. And a woman, she just accepts. The next quality of the man. Man by nature, they are unable to understand the situation deeply.
то, во что он погружен.
They are immersed in what they are immersed.
Обязанность женщины заключается
And
в том,
so,
чтобы его вывести из
a
погружения,
woman must take him out of this immersion and not blame him for being inattentive. There are a few steps how to behave with a husband who watches a hockey game. How do you make so that he pays attention to you? Step 1. You sit next to your husband and you watch the hockey game. Step 2. You hug him. Step 3. You say, I like the way Harlamov plays. In this moment, you are in his field of view. He will say, well, sure. Who would have doubted? Step 4. You hug him even tighter and you say, you would have played better. And in that moment, he gets distracted from the TV. It's a blow below the belt, then he will look at you. He will look at you, and as soon as he does, you must say, how are you doing, my darling? Do you understand the system? Now, if you approach him and he watches hockey and you ask him, how are you doing, darling? What result do you get? Zilch. And it is your fault, it's your problem, and not the man's problem, who cannot respond to your words, because he is busy with hockey. He must be prepared for such words. Now, women, try to understand that. Respecting a woman means kind and gentle behavior next to her. This is the only way to respect a woman. Kind and gentle behavior and attentiveness. This is the way to respect a woman. Then respecting a man is absolutely different. No, men need different things. A man needs so that you, at least outwardly, I understand that it is really difficult because women are disobedient by nature, but at least outwardly, when next to your husband, you must look as if there is no one else and no other understanding in this world than his. At least outwardly. No inner work is not required from you. The man, he does not need it. Do you think he cares about your opinion? No. He needs you to look like this. Yes, my darling. If you ask your man if he needs your opinion, know that he does not. He only needs your agreement with his opinion. Is it right, man? Now, let's vote. Your wife has her opinion, but she always does this thing. She looks at you and says, yes, my darling, I agree with you. But she has her opinion. Now, men, raise your hands who does not agree with such behavior. There are no one. There is no one. There is one. We'll talk about it. There is just one. And this is normal. Now, the second option. A woman disagrees with you and insists on her opinion. Raise your hands who likes it.
Никого.
No one.
Теперь
Now,
есть мужчины,
there are
которые
men
верят,
who
что
believe
женщина может соглашаться и снаружи, и
that a
снутри.
woman can agree both outwardly and inwardly.
Вот, мои дорогие, это невозможно.
Know that it is impossible.
А? Что есть?
Возможно.
It's possible.
Так кто должен говорить, мужчина или женщина? Возможно.
Men are not
Возможно.
supposed to answer.
Хорошо, возможно.
Women
Хорошо,
should.
возможно.
Okay, it's possible.
Женщины, поднимите
Women,
руки, которые считают,
raise
что
your
это
hands
возможно.
who
Соглашаться с
think that
мужчиной
it
и
is
снаружи,
possible
и снутри.
to agree with men both
Микрофончик,
outwardly
одна
and inwardly.
Микрофончик.
Pass the microphone. There is one woman who raised her
Что?
hand. May I say one thing?
Да.
Yes. I value my wife's opinion.
Где человек?
Where is this person?
Если вы цените
If you
мнение
value
своей
your
жены,
wife's opinion,
тогда это
then
возможно.
it is possible
Чтобы женщина согласилась и снутри,
for
и снаружи.
your wife to agree with you
Но
both inwardly and
это
outwardly.
очень трудно
But it
для
is
мужчины
extremely
ценить мнение
difficult
своей жены. Это
for a man
аскеза.
to
А мы
value
сейчас
his
говорим
wife's opinion. It's an
для женщин,
austerity.
про мужчин. Понятно?
And we are now just speaking about men for all the
Большинство
women.
мужчин
Most
даже
men
вообще не понимают,
do not
что у
even
женщины может
understand
быть свое мнение.
that a woman can have her own opinion.
У них непонимания этого даже
They
нет.
do not understand
То,
it.
чтобы ценить мнение женщин.
And there is no speaking of
Мужчине очень
valuing
трудно понять,
it.
что у жены
It is
может
difficult
быть
for a
свое
man to
мнение.
understand that his wife
Мужчины в
can
основном
have an
считают,
opinion.
что какое у меня мнение, такое
Men
у
mostly
жены.
think that the way I think, my wife thinks,
Или примерно так они считают.
or
Так
something
устроена
like that.
психика мужчины.
That's
Мужчине
the way
очень трудно
men's
почувствовать
psyche
и понять,
works.
что у женщины есть свое мнение.
It is hard for them.
Точно так же, как женщине очень трудно
Just
принять
as well
мнение мужа.
as a woman
Почему? Потому что
cannot
женщина
accept her
эксплуатирует
husband's
мужчину.
opinion
Так как
because
женщина
she
эксплуатирует
exploits him.
мужчину, поэтому
Because she
у
exploits
женщины
him.
всегда будет работать одна и та же
She
система.
always has one
Если у
system
мужчины есть
working.
какое-то мнение,
If a man has an opinion,
это значит,
that means
что у меня есть 1000 замечаний
that
к этому
I have
мнению.
1000
замечаний.
objections
Согласны,
to it.
женщины?
Do you agree?
Согласны.
Yes.
Конечно же, бывает и так, что женщина
course,
согласна
it
и снаружи, и
happens
снутри с мужем.
Like this,
Но это
when
святая
the
женщина.
wife, she agrees with her husband
Сейчас мы говорим о
completely, but it
святости,
is
мы
a
сейчас
saint
говорим об
woman.
обычной жизни,
And we are not
о том,
speaking
что в
of
обычной жизни.
saintly people, we are
Итак,
talking of ordinary life.
женщина должна учиться внешне соглашаться
The
с
woman
мнением
must
мужа.
learn to
И
agree with her
тогда
husband
она
outwardly,
получит
and then
возможность
she will have an
высказывать свое мнение.
opportunity to
Потому
speak
что
her
когда
mind.
женщина соглашается с мнением
Because
мужчины,
when she
мужчина
agrees,
расслабляется психически
The man gets
и готов
relaxed and he is ready
выслушать мнение
to
жены.
listen to her
Потому
wife,
что
to his wife's
мужчине не
opinion,
важно,
because the man does not
останется
care
ли его мнение главным.
if his
Ему важно,
opinion
чтобы с ним
stays the main
согласились.
one.
Попытайтесь
He
это
just
понять.
cares about being
Женщины.
agreed with. Please understand it, women.
Ага, интересно. Ну-ка.
That's interesting. Let's listen.
Вы хотите жить с мужем?
Do you want to live with your husband? Of course
ну,
I
я
do.
так, между
Well,
прочим.
I'm just asking in case.
Ну, рассказывайте.
Tell me now. My husband, he rejects my ways and I boil on the inside. Please tell me how to behave.
А почему у вас все вскипает?
Why do you boil? I have bad character. No, you just lack understanding. Is it a sin if I allow my husband to say bad things? Well, this is closer to truth. Now see, a man by nature is the one who takes the opposite extremity. Men, they do not agree, they search. He does not agree, he searches. And if he tells you that all these monks are idle people, it's just his search. And what about bad karma? Karma gets worse when a woman cannot agree and forgive her husband. When a man, when his train goes the wrong way, it is not karma getting worse, because then it will turn around. Or maybe he will go with a different woman who would agree with him. So I must not allow any disagreements. You know, the problem is that you do not understand what kindness towards man is. The problem is that you have no compassion for him. And at the same time you think that you are a religious person. If you just smile back at him and say, "Would you like fried potatoes today or spaghetti?" then he will understand God a bit faster. Do you know why? Because you are the person who was born for him to understand God. And here's the personality next to you, so that you could explain him who God is. You must know that women have their good sense in their heart, and so it is much easier for them to understand the truth. A woman is the heart of a man if she performs her duties. The heart, it means love, and love starts with forgiveness. If a man cannot forgive the shortcomings of his close person, it's a curse. If a man says that there is no God, for example, then it means that there is no wife next to him who would bring this knowledge into his heart. This is it. There is no woman next to him with kind heart who could reach him. The man is will and sense of the wife, and the wife is the truth in the heart of man. And the woman must have one qualification. She must calmly accept anything he says without paying attention. She just must listen calmly, feed him spaghetti, and once he is fed, when the man is full, he is kind and he listens, she can tell him some story from the life of saintly people. Just quietly and calmly, just to inspire. Time will pass and he will study it all. But if your husband is an atheist, that means that there is not a single drop of love in your heart for him. Men's atheism manifests in their lack of love for God, and women's atheism manifests in lack of love for husband. Do you understand it? That's atheism, because God allowed women to feel Him. Women can feel God by nature, because their heart is close to God. But if a woman cannot forgive her husband, cannot forgive his disability to feel God, she is just as atheist as he is. Do you hear me? But I'm already desperate. How do I behave? Listen on, and gradually the understanding will come. It's not like you're a bad person, you've just been punished in life. The punishment is gone when you have some merits. Now you know how to behave. You must listen to your husband and pay them no attention. Like, if you loved someone, would you pay attention to his words? Look, I'll give you an example. Your child, he tells you, Mom, there is no God, and you love your child. What is your reaction? I would think he just misspoke. Yes, and just the same, you sit next to your husband and treat him like a baby. Who told you that? Why would you say that? Let's go eat spaghetti. It's too late. And this is it. This is called love. This is love for your husband. Do you hear me? I wish you good luck. Try to understand that women should express different relationships. Sometimes she's like a mother for her husband, sometimes she's like a daughter. This variety, it is love. When man, he says something important, you can be his daughter. When he says something stupid, you can behave like his mother. And immediately there's a picture, it gets in place, because love conveys knowledge. You can easily convey knowledge with love, but you must have this love, and for that you must accept your close person as he is. It is hard for a woman to understand that men do not naturally have knowledge from the heart, and she is constantly nervous. Oh, he is so dumb, these are the simplest things. He is not the one who is dumb. It's just that you do not understand that you are in the body of a woman and that you must deliver some things to him. A woman is the heart of the husband, and if she blames him for misunderstanding it and not giving him this knowledge, she just does not perform her duty. Do you hear me, women? This is important. My husband is dumb, he does not know this and that. Great. That means that you have a lot of work and you must gently make him understand. We are running out of time. I'm very sorry. Let me tell you more about men, just the most important things. The most important thing you must know is that men are made for victories and women for harmony. Women search harmony and men victory. Men do not need harmony. Let them defeat, let them have their victories. When the man comes back from work and he says that his boss made something stupid, do not tell him that he was the one who made something stupid. Do not tell him that. You must just nod and listen. Let him have his victory, and then you can ask him. And, well, I must be misunderstanding something. And could you behave this way with your boss? Especially first you must feed your husband and then ask, and could you behave this way? And what happens next? He's going to scratch his head and consider it, although he may not answer to you. So you must let your man win. This is your duty as a woman. Otherwise, he will go nuts. The man, he cannot be defeated. For example, if a woman punishes her child, she beats him and tries to defeat him. She tries to break him. She's going to make him a sadist or a floor map. A very soft person. A woman can spank her son on the bottom, but she can never defeat him, because the boy was born to win. And if a woman tries to defeat a man, it's a very bad situation, complete failure. Why do men fight? There are just two reasons. Remember it, women. The first one, when a man says something in irritation, that means that he is out of control. A woman has a psyche 6 times stronger than men's. So when the man is irritated, a woman's psyche is much stronger and she can easily yield. She may start crying or step away, but you must yield. That is absolutely necessary. If you don't, and in return you say something, then the man, he cannot escape this situation. He turns into a cock. And the cock, he can only peck you on your forehead. And this is all. When I was little, I was 4 years old, I entered a hen house and I started to chase hens, and I saw a cock who stood in front of me, and I did not understand. I was a small man, I just didn't pay it any attention of what happened next. The cock, it jumped up to me and pecked me on the forehead. And I realized what man meant when falling. I had this tendency to contemplate. A man is the one you cannot fight against, because if you're a woman, man and man, they can fight. They first have a fight, then they meet each other and they are okay. But when a woman attacks a man, he is left with 2 options. First is to become a milksop, to be broken, and the second option is to beat his head on the wall or to hit her. Do you like either option? So do not try to do what I said. You want to fight just for one reason, and it's a bad reason. It's an evil one. You want to break your husband. If a woman tries to argue with her husband, not because she wants to prove she's right, she just wants to cruelly defeat him, to break him. And when she does it, the result is very sad. She's going to break him, but she's going to regret it herself. And the second option for men to beat women is when women are strongly attached to men, to the happiness they receive, and this attachment is stronger than common sense. Then women, they do not want to educate their husbands, they just get humiliated until they become completely brutalized, they turn into a monster. And now there's a question, who made him a monster? Women are the one who educate. A woman must not yield to a man who behaves badly. She doesn't have to argue with him, but she must educate him with silence, with ignoring, with soft words or even bitter words. And it's okay. It's good. A woman must always teach her husband. If she yields in everything, even in some really unacceptable things, she just makes him a monster who will continue to beat her, to cheat on her. He will be a beast, and that would be her fault. It is difficult for a woman to teach her husband, but she must, it's a duty. Love has two sides, serving and teaching, and a man must also teach her wife. He must yield to her, but when she becomes insolent, he must tell her what he must in a soft words, even if she does not want to listen. You must softly repeat, not being too pushy, just speaking calmly, and a woman will surely accept it if there is no violence, logic, and evilness in these words, just the right words. Today you are not humble. Today you are a little unhumble. Just the right answer. And a woman, she will accept it. Her heart is on the surface, her conscience is very open. But it must be said firmly, but without any violence. Men are naturally not meant for family. They are meant for work or for their hobby. Women often want to tame their husbands, they want to make them family. But let a man be a man. If you put kindness in him, he will be domestic for some moment and then he will turn back to society. If a man is completely domestic, he is sick. You can treat him. He will lay at home, but as soon as he is healthy, he is back out. Women often try to tame their man, but it is impossible. Do you have any questions? Yes? How can I help my husband if he has some obsession and he thinks that I am being unfaithful to him? Where is your husband? That's a very good question. Let us develop logic. How to help you. He thinks that you are unfaithful. You must do nothing about it. His train is moving in a certain direction. So we accept that he goes there. We do not agree that you are unfaithful, we just agree with his opinion. He thinks that. You must sit down next to him and ask him, please tell me, why exactly do you think I am unfaithful? What signs are there? Oh, he had a full investigation. So, what did it show? He found out that he says, I'm such a good person and you cheated me. So, what are the facts? Oh, he blames me for dating someone before marriage. So, you see, this is where his train goes, and the reason of your unfaithfulness that you cheated on him in your past life. Do you see that?
Вот в этом ваша неверность.
This is your unfaithfulness. You're cheating on him before you knew him. And when you lived in your past life, in previous body, you cheated on him. Yes, I guess so. Thank you very much. This is also very important. It is man's nature. A man thinks that a woman belongs to him always, eternally, since her birth. And therefore, you must do the following thing. You must tell your husband, "Please forgive me for cheating on you before our wedding. But honestly, I never cheated on you afterwards." He may ask for divorce. You must answer to him. His train is still moving the same direction, and you must say, "Whatever you think best, but I shall always be faithful to you even after our divorce." Do you hear me? And he will calm down. But know that when the man, he says, "We're going to get divorced, you cheated on me before wedding," that means that he loves you very much and he will never break up with you unless you help him. And do you know why men say such things? Would you like to know? With one purpose only, to check your faithfulness. He does not want to divorce you. It is just his idea of checking you. And this is a big, big idea in the man's head. And you must agree with everything. Yes, I was unfaithful to you in my past life, but now I am faithful. And even if you leave me, I will be waiting for you. Just tell him that, and he will calm down. I do it, but it is hard. I understand it is. Well, my darlings, I guess many of you are tired and leaving, and we're having the final part of our lecture. It's wishing happiness. Please sit straight. Today we had a practical lecture, but the point is still the same. Unless we start our inner life and we do not try to get connected with holiness, we do not try to forgive, to ask for forgiveness, to live with prayer, there is no living together. A man cannot keep his family just by enjoying his life. One must learn to open his heart to love, to serve, to care, and in the end to see the reality, the real thing that we usually do not notice at first in our closest person. That is why every day we need spiritual life. We either wish everyone happiness or we pray, but the technique is this. You must remember something holy, what holy you have in life. In this case, you must repeat, "I wish everyone happiness," thinking of what you remembered. Nothing else is required. When a person channels the energy of happiness, three processes happen in his heart. Firstly, his heart is filled with enough happiness to make everyone happy in his family, and all the worries, they fade away. Secondly, There is knowledge in his heart of what to do and how to live. And thirdly, there is faith or force in the heart. Faith or force to stay on this path, to remember holiness and to serve the others, and to overcome difficulties in the heart, because all the scriptures, they say one thing, that this is the goal of human life, to think of God and to serve Him. There is no other goal. Building a house and having children, it is not a goal, but this ability to have inner life, to feel like the soul you are, to connect with God, it is our endless goal. And this ability, it brings all happiness and knowledge there is in our life, and all the victory. Let's practice. Remember something holy in your faith, and we remember it and we repeat, I wish everyone happiness. This is the practice. I wish everyone happiness.
Счастье, я желаю
всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья.
Thank you very much. I wish happiness to all of you. Love, knowledge, all the best and brightest in your life. I am very grateful to you for being here with me today. Thank you very much.